Hey there guys, AnimeCore85 here, and yes, here's another gaming rant video, because right now my Let's Play is, it's already pretty much over, and I'm pretty much stopping from there for the time being, so the week of the 20th, which is I think a week or two from now, I'll start the next LP. So for now, you guys are going to get some anime and gaming rants, and I thought today I would continue my whole entire thing regarding with Sweet Baby Inc. and how horrible they are. But I also wanted to touch base upon what gaming and anime and the art industry and entertainment industry mean a lot to me in terms of what they bring and what they inspire. And I hope by the end of this video, I hope you guys kind of feel the same way how I do, or even though you guys can also freely express your opinions on the subject. So to start out with, um, I was watching a video earlier from Nerd Wars. Definitely check out his channel if you guys want to be kept up to date with the whole thing going on with Sweet Baby Inc. and such. He did a deep dive into who Sweet Baby is connected to, and yeah, there's a lot. There's one called Ghost Baby, I think, and pretty much Sweet Baby Inc. is actually funded by many different agencies from Canada, and apparently there's some people that are working within Homeland Security, which is interesting. That's one thing I found out recently. But getting back to the main topic at hand, uh, pretty much the CEO for Sweet Baby Inc., Kim Belair, she actually did do a talk um on stage regarding with what they do at Sweet Baby Inc. and how it all started. And after hearing most of it, the way how she sounded like basically like an 8-year old. Like seriously, like an 8-year old child. Okay? Now, she's also one of the reasons like why like in current in current day we aren't really getting a lot of cool awesome stuff. And her synopsis is that she wants all games to basically she wants the people around her, she wants people to be inserted into games like, so there was like a picture of her like as a child, and she was wearing I think like a one of the Batman logo type of t-shirts. And when as she was speaking, she was probably thinking about, okay, so you know it was something related to growing up I always wanted to be a superhero of some kind and such like that. And it got me thinking, okay, so basically what you're trying to say here is that you wanted to basically you wanted to be the center of spotlight. You wanted to be Batman. You did not want another character playing as Batman. But then at the same time, if it's a female character playing as Batman, you're gonna be known as Batwoman, because Batman is a male protagonist. Okay, and he is throughout many of the comics. I mean, there's literally comics covering him. And I mean, hey, Bruce Wayne is like one of like the god tier legendary DC characters. I mean, alongside Superman, Wonder Woman, I think it's I believe Flash is one of them, and alongside Green Lantern. So yeah, there you go. And my overall takeaway from listening to her at the GDC 2019 got me thinking a lot about the whole entire thing. Where, okay, I understand that Sweeping Inc. Your whole entire thing is to basically provide like narrative consulting for for creative writing, script writing, and stuff like that. And of course, let me just take you back to how video game came about. Okay, so we're going back to, well, gaming has actually been around longer than just the 1990s. I would say about since like I think like 17 or 1800s, somewhere around there. The first video game ever made was Pong, and it was actually created by a couple of white guys. Hint, hint. It Video games have always been for the vast majority for the male audience. Okay, yes, there are some women that do actually that have actually created their own games, and there are also some that have actually worked on, there are many artists within the gaming industry. Okay, but primarily video games started as like, I think it first started out as, I think, somewhere in, I think it's either in Germany or one of the European countries. But they actually, it was like by a small majority of people, and I think they were researchers or something. I forget what they were, but essentially, Pong was the very first game that ever got created. How do I know this? Is because I once did a little bit of research on it. It's a really really long story. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but essentially, um, uh, Pong was originally a game that it's just like with ping pong, except that it was more of a computer based game, and essentially, and I'm sorry if I'm using essentially so much. Within Pong, you just had to really just move your cursor up and down, and hitting the little pixel ball type thing, going, coming back and forth, going back and forth between you and your opponent, and whoever scored the most points won. And that was the most simple way of playing a game. And at the time, there was no such thing as, as creating an actual, there were no characters to be created, because modern day technology was not fully invented back in the day. And then it wasn't until till somewhere around like during the 1900s, that was when the N64 and the N64, the PlayStation 2, the NES, all those, they came much later. And then, yeah, I mean, first it was like, what was it? It was like the 8-bit era, and I forget which one was the 8-bit. I think that was the NES, or, I forget which console provided the 8-bit, but there were a lot of interesting consoles back in the day. The Sega Saturn, the Dreamcast. There were many, 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 many really cool, awesome games at the time. And yeah, and then eventually, then you had 16-bit, which was like, yeah, I think that was actually during the NES days, I think, or Super NES, one of the two. So you had like Duck Hunt, you had Mario Brothers, you had Mario Brothers, I think something relating to Yoshi as well. There was a plethora of really cool games back during the NES and others, and then you also had the Game Gear, which brought Sonic the Hedgehog. And after that, Sonic became like a well-known character. And yeah, and then of course, then we go into the N64 era, and you had a whole bunch of really cool, awesome, creative games back in the day. And when you look at the current day gaming space, Kim Belair and several other cronies like Chris Kindred, all those people, they hold nothing but criticize a particular race, and then they whine about black representation. And I'm like, where does that fall in the line of gaming? We don't really care about that stuff. Like, literally, there are black characters in the vast majority of games, like, for a long time. Like, if you played, like, Dragon Age Inquisition, there's Dorian. Dorian is a black character. Dorian is actually a black character. No question. Let me see. Who else can you also take? God, I'm pretty sure you can probably use someone from, I think, Final Fantasy X, I think. I mean, Barrett's also a black character. Would you actually call him? There's some black representation. I mean, there are so many games that actually have people of different backgrounds and race and different races. Seriously, and honestly, when I look at Kim Belair, like the hairstyle, the way how she presents herself, like her whole entire script when she was on the podium during the GDC 2019, I definitely could tell that she probably didn't ever like re-go over her script before she went up on stage. Like she never said, "Does this actually sound good? Does this actually make sense of what I'm trying to persuade?" And and then of course she said like, "Oh, the whole entire thing is not to make the things of what the people want. It's no, because otherwise you're just giving to them like a whole bunch of picky babies and such. You have to give them something else, and it's like, no, that's not the point. The whole entire point is to basically, gaming is all about, freedom of expression. It's art, it's creativity. Anime is also creativity. Same thing for hentai. Hentai is also creativity. So, what seems to be the problem here? Oh, yes, of course, because you believe that gaming should not be, female sexy attractive female characters should not be allowed in games because of the whole male gaze things. And I'm kind of like, okay, so but women also love looking at that shit. Women enjoy um looking at other, looking at sexy women within games. It's a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Seriously. Literally. I mean, in real life, most women I see around are really sexy. Although, there are some I've seen that don't really look quite as sexy. I mean, hell, honestly, if I were to say this terribly, or if anything, I mean, my father, who got remarried to a woman, yeah, she does not look actually sexy at all, honestly. Mostly because I just I really really particularly I don't really like overweight slash chubby women. I really do not. And I think a lot can be said because I really like young and attractive women. I mean, I think that's actually one of the reasons like why I love to be honest, why I love Asian women a lot, because Asian women are so cute and beautiful. Plus, not to mention, they always stay fit. They always look so amazingly beautiful, and yes, some of them can be gold diggers. Some of them can be crazy, but overall, I enjoy. I think if I had to put into two slots, I mean, what? I mean, Asian would come first, and then I think white Caucasians would come second, I think. And then probably Latinos would probably come third on that list. Probably. But anyways, yeah. Now, where am I going with this whole entire situation? Well, the thing is that after hearing what Kim Belair said, I kind of I kind of realized that, okay, first, she probably has no idea of creativeness, and I know that, I think she worked at Ubisoft or something, and I bet she probably got let go from the company because something probably happened, and so she decided, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to gather some people, and we're going to infest the gaming space, because we can't have a whole bunch of games being made for for the whole male gaze and everything, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And straight up, to be honest, there are a lot of diverse people, not just myself, but a lot of Asians, blacks, um, Hispanics, a lot of people of different races and colors. They in different backgrounds. They love gaming and they love looking at women, at really really sexy ass women. I mean, and some of them may not quite may not quite like, or may not quite be for looking at like a really scantily clad woman, but at the same time, hey, they still enjoy playing a good solid game, because at the end of the day, gaming is all about having fun. Okay, and one thing I remember Kim Belair said was relating to customization, where it's like, where it was, she was complaining about how when she got the option to customize, she didn't want to create a character that's based off of herself, but she doesn't mind like having games that are currently in development look really ugly or looking like her, and I'm like, and I'm kind of like, what is wrong with you, bitch? Like, literally, the the thing here is that, okay, if you want to have something be made about you, then why not make your own? Why not make your own game and then tell it how you want to tell it? Because guess what? Unreal Engine 5 is actually free for the time being. So, therefore, you can actually pick up the skills and create a game that you want to tell. You don't have to infest other companies' games that they're making and tell other developers, "Oh, hey, we need you to to change this because we have like some people with sensitivity issues and dot 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 dot." And okay, so there's no really like no reason why you need to infest a whole bunch of these companies like Square Enix, Ubisoft, Xbox, PlayStation. None of that. You don't need to do that. The only if you want a game to be your narrative, make your own. Like literally, Unreal Engine 5 has already has like a built-in programming language, so therefore you don't need to pick up like JavaScript or learn any of the actual computer programs. You can actually just within the game, it has a node system. So basically, when you create a world, you actually have the option. You actually have the option of just learning, of just putting together a thing that you want to tell a story about your life. So if you want to tell a story about how you grew up, and then of course and what you did after that, then sure, okay, and then your whole entire thing could be made for about, I don't know, could be like a good 1 to 2 hour game, and it's really just a telling of your life, of something, and there you go. I mean, it's the same way, as if you're making your own film. Like anybody could like literally use a camera, whether if you have an iPhone, an Android, or you have a DSLR camera, whatever. You can like literally go out and shoot a short clip and then edit it and then upload it onto YouTube or Vimeo or wherever. That's what you can do. You do not, in God's name, have to infest all sorts of companies to, to try and get your point across. Because nobody cares. Nobody cares who you are. And Chris Kindred is really like, the one of the people that really, that tried to bring Cabrutus's Sweet Baby Inc. detected creator down, but that's not going to go away because a lot of people are taking notice. And I know eventually a lot of this stuff is gonna eventually reach out to the masses. Okay. Now I know a lot of websites like Eurogamer, The Gamer, Polygon, IGN. A lot of these companies, they're terribly infected. I mean, hell, like Deadspin just like literally what was it? They just like when they got sold to another company. I think like to a European company or something. But yeah, and for Deadspin, I think like they're you're supposed to to stick to one thing. So, for example, if you work for, let's say you work for the Rolling Stones, okay? Because the Rolling Stones is not just a name of a band, but it's also a website. And on Rolling Stones, you're supposed to cover all sorts of stuff relating to the rock scene, to the rock music scene. Not to basically put in your whole political bullshit into it. That's not right. Now, if you want to talk about politics, you're welcome to to join CNN, Fox News, MSN and MSNBC, those type of things. But gaming is not. And when I look at other mediums like movies and such, I always think about what goes into making people wanna create a cool game like Kingdom Hearts. And the answer is really, really simple. It's inspiration. You have to have inspiration in order to create something. That is your whole entire thing is you get inspiration from something. You can get inspirations by reading older books. You can get inspirations by watching older movies or by playing old games like Ocarina of Time or Banjo-Kazooie or something among that nature. But you should not, in God's name, grapple onto the idea of just putting, telling the developer, hey, we need you to put this into the game because this is how we want our game to, look like, and we can't have this because there are a whole bunch of sensitive people, and no. And Kim Belair and anybody who works on Sweet Baby Inc. team, they deserve the hammer. And I bet as a kid, Kim Belair probably got told a lot of times the word no multiple times, and then she was just like, okay, you know what? And I bet somewhere in middle school or high school, she was kind of like, okay, you know what? Once I get once I build myself a mass following, and I've done all this and that and everything else, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna try and fix whatever is going on. And you know what? I actually agree with what Ania Sarkeesian says. I agree with her. It's like Ania Sarkeesian is nothing but a poison butterfly. Seriously. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of gamers and anime enthusiasts and everybody around the world that's an artist or 3D artist, no. And overall, I just have to say at the end of the day, I really do think that, if you want to create something, use your own imagination. And you have to find things to get inspired to create, okay? and you just going in and and acting so racist to so many people, like even being racist towards a certain background, like such as the people who are Caucasian. You better be actual careful about who you actually say that to, because literally you can get in serious trouble by acting really racist to a lot of people, literally. And I mean, because video games were made, like video games got made by the white people. I mean, like literally. I mean that was how it got started. And and you don't have to be white to create a game. You can be Asian, you can be Chinese, you can be German, Russian, any whatever country you come from, you can create a game completely. Okay? Look at Japan, for example. Japan also, they were like probably like, they're like the second country from America that actually create some good stuff. And right now, Japan is leading the forefront because they create a lot of really cool awesome stuff. They tell great stories, and they Japan is filled with a lot of creative people, okay? A lot of creative people. They are the gods of creativity. Japan is like the country of creativity. I mean, yes, it's known as the land of the rising sun, and plus, there is a show that was I think it's now gone, but it used to be on. It used to be on G4 a lot of times. It was called Ninja Warrior, and it, at that time, the whole entire thing was all about challenging yourself. It was all about a challenge of endurance and strength. That was pretty much it. Yeah, strength, speed, and endurance. That was the entire point. That's where the power of creativity comes from. And if you want to create a game, because I know there's a show Nekapara. I know that there was an anime show that was based off the game, and they kind of like made one of the episodes. It was basically using that and like having the Neko chicks doing like perform some sort of endurance training or whatever. And there are actually some visual novels of it if you guys want to check it out. I think they're still available over on Steam, I believe. But yeah, those they're really cool. I mean, I only finished I think like only the first visual novel. I never actually played the second, but mostly because visual novels can kind of get kind of boring for me and very like I lose interest really quickly. Because I mean, it's really just a book. It's not really like really much a lot of stuff you're doing. I like prefer doing the action stuff than just doing basic reading. But yeah, and one of the things Kim Belair also pointed out was something about relating to sensitivity readers. I'm like, if you have a if you're very sensitive to a particular book you're reading, there's the thing. There are books for any ages. Okay, if you would rather read a book that was that's like made for like like an eighth grade or a 12th grade reader, okay, you can do that. If you would rather read just like some easy fantasy books, go ahead, you can do those. Okay, I myself, I mean, I'm not really much of a typical actual traditional English American reader, because mostly I like seeing pictures of what is going on within the story. I'm a visual person. You know, I like the visual aspects of things. But yeah. But yeah, the thing is I want you guys to take away from this is that if you want to create your own thing, like like if you are really like not satisfied with what the games that you are currently getting, you can just create your own. It's not that hard. Thanks to AI and modern day technology, you can actually create your own. Yes, you're gonna have to pick up some skills um, to create one. So you're gonna like have to pick up some skill like on how to do some animation. You're gonna have to learn how to do some modeling. You're gonna have to do all this stuff. But once you've mastered all those skills, it's really, really, you can just put them together and you can make a boatload of money, literally. And you don't even have to join like a AAA company to create your own game. You can create your own with either yourself or gather like 3 more people. And there you go. A game can be easily made with just 3 or 4 people alone. It doesn't have to be made with 1200 team players. You don't need to do that. There's really no purpose. Now, if you're trying to create like something that's kind of like a AAA game, then sure, then maybe I would have at least 100, at least 100. Yeah, I would say at least 100 is a good amount. But for the most part, if you're just creating like a small game, you can easily put it together within, I don't know, maybe like a good few weeks or something. I don't know. Depends on how long the game is, the story of what you're trying to tell within the game, and all that. And the same thing if you want to create like your own like indie anime style show, you can totally do that. It's not out of the possibilities, but again, as I said, you're going to have to learn how to learn how to do all these things. I'm still trying to learn how to use Unreal Engine 5, but I've been mostly just been on break because, well, one of the reasons is I'm trying to work on trying myself a new job right now at the moment, because obviously my job currently right now sucks, because I have not enough hours in the day to literally earn enough money, so I'm trying my best to find some way to get myself a new job, but then after that I'll pretty much be going back and trying to learn. And I'm starting to think that I should probably start with since I like overall like looking at the overall environments in games, that's kind of like what I want to kind of create, is just create worlds that have really cool interesting stuff. And if I come up with a really cool awesome design, then cool, then I can add it into my game. I don't need to go into another companies and saying, hey, change up this environment. It's not right. Here's an environment I want you to put together. It's like, no. And a consultancy is not okay. And having a consultancy like Sweet Baby Ang or any other company besides that is a no-go. Okay? A developer is the one who puts together a game. The developer is the one who decides what he or she wants in the game. And yeah, the developer is the one that does all the coding and all the stuff. And then the designer is also the one who actually designs the actual overall look of the game. Okay? And then of course, you also have, yes, you have the script writers, but you know what? There's no reason to have a company, a third-party company, doing the script writing for you when you can actually, when your own company can use a team of maybe like 2 or 3 people to just create one, okay? Or just hire just one person who can do script writing, okay? Literally. I took a class in video production, okay? One of the things I learned, and this actually does actually fall truth. And for those who actually are in the film industry, you guys can probably vouch for me. But essentially, when it comes to script writing, it's usually one person that does most of the writing. Okay, most of the people who do the script writing, and it's okay to bounce thoughts from the developer, from the producer, and such. It's all about teamwork and collaboration. That is where it comes from. You do not need to have a whole bunch of these random ass people from a different company, doing the script writing for you. And you can also have someone, working on on the models. Okay, there are people who do actually do 2D animation, 3D animation. Okay, and all that. So what I want future companies, and even if you're a startup company, a startup indie company, create the games that you want to create. Don't use a third party like Sweet Baby Inc. or anybody to tell you what should be in there. And you know what? For God's sakes, if you're gonna make a game that features a female character, make her look goddamn sexy. And you know what? And you know what? Just to top it all off, give people to add some jiggle physics if they want. If they want to play as a character with bouncing boobs, then do it. Okay, literally, because right now I can't really trust and play a lot of games these days, and I'm not interested in paying $70 for games. Honestly, I mean, literally, I mean. I'm not a multi-millionaire person, and honestly, I live in a fucking studio apartment that's like literally sort of on my budget, even though I have parents helping me out with that. But at the same time, yeah. And yes, and how Star Wars came about was thanks to George Lucas, because he got some inspiration from books and such like that. And where is Star Wars now? It's destroyed. Why? Because DEI and Kathleen Kennedy took over, and George Lucas made a mistake of selling his company to selling his Star Wars franchise and Lucasfilm to Kathleen Kennedy, which I'm guessing he was like completely drunk, and he pretty much like slept with a bitch, and then of course he was all like, okay, fine, you can go ahead and have my company and the franchise. And look where it is. It's destroyed. Congratulations! Golf clap. So yes. Look forward to, I'm hopefully in the next couple of years we'll get more stuff, and hopefully, next season anime will also look good. I still am enjoying gushing over Metro Girls and all that goodness. So with that, I think I'll stop it off here. But yes, if you want to help show some support and you love my content, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want to help be supportive. Follow me over on Twitter, because I am being active over on Twitter, and I'll be streaming on Kick soon once I have everything together and I have the money put together to actually buy such a thing. And because there are a couple of equipments I need to buy before I can actually start streaming over on Kick. So there we go. Then afterwards I'll announce when I'm gonna start streaming. But yeah, all the links to my Kick and my Twitter are in the description, so you guys can check them out. Follow me over on there, and I am pretty much Again, I'm mostly active over on there. But if you guys wanna just stick around and you guys want to see just more awesome cool content, you're welcome to leave comments in the comment section down below. And other than that, if you guys would rather not listen to me doing more rants and you want to just watch me do my LPs, you guys are going to have to wait till between the 20th and the 22nd of this month. Alright? Till then, going forward, if you're going to create your own game, or if you're going to want to insert yourself into a video game, create your own. Don't involve yourself into another company's don't try and infest another company with your own political takes and narratives. Create your own or get the hell out. One of the two. All right, those are two options. Create your own or get the hell out of the industry. Okay? Same thing, if you're doing the same thing for anime or music, whatever, create your own. Don't bother infesting other people's stuff, because that's like basically trying to steal someone's paperwork and then try to input the wrong answers just to make them look bad. No go. Alright? But yes, this is Anime Core 5, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.